Dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, welcome to the second week of Lent. If you remember, last week we were reflecting on the temptation of Jesus in the desert. And today we see Jesus is with three of his disciples in the mount, transfiguring himself and showing his divine glory. Last week we focused so much into Jesus' human nature, 100% human when he was, facing his temptations. But this week, the same Jesus is showing his divinity, that theology that we hold where Jesus was fully human, fully divine, is, equally justified by these two, passages. Today, the next week, the passage will be having Jesus in the temple turning the table upside down. He will be chasing all the merchants from the house of the Lord. So in these three events, if we see the importance of desert, importance of the mountain, and the importance of the temple also gives us some, reflections for our life, especially in our Lent. If you have come across the desert and the sea, these Israelites, for them, these two places are considered to be the abode of evil spirit. That is one of the reasons why when Jesus was controlling the nature calamity like wind and the rough sea, it is indirect significance that Jesus has power over evil spirit. And also when he was in the desert, we read he was among the beasts. That is also considered by those people as the abode of evil. That's one of the reasons when Jesus was teaching them, when an evil spirit leave you and wanders in the deserted place, then it will come back to you with 7 more spirits, which means the desert is a place of evil spirit. But for these people, the mountain is considered to be the place of God, abode of God. We see in Moses goes to the mountain to see God and brings the 10 commandments, whom we see with the transfigured Jesus. Also Elijah experienced God in the mountain Horeb, where he sees God as a gentle God. He is not witnessing God in the earthquake or fire, but when there is a gentle breeze that he experienced. Those two people we encounter in today's transfiguration. Having said that, I invite you all to reflect on the significance of mountain, the abode of God for our reflection today. The mountain is a significance not only for the Jews as an abode of God, but in other religions too, mountain is considered to be the abode of God. In Hindu tradition, the temple of Shiva and his son Kartikeya, all of them, mostly it is situated in the mountain. Even in our Christianity, the monastery and some of the churches all situate in the mountain, and Jesus in his teaching, he says, the city on the mountain cannot be hidden, which means this mountain plays a significant role in the spiritual journey. What is the importance of mountain? Why mountain is considered as something, it's an abode of God. Let us reflect in a literal and practical way. When you are going to the mountain, like Jesus, today he goes with 3 of his disciples. Abraham in the first reading goes with Isaac to the mountain. What happens? Actually, we are going away from the crowd, the noise of the world, and we are moving away from all these ordinary, the normal endeavors that we are having. The second, it is always an upward movement. We always look at to heaven from the above. The more you go higher, you are going closer to God. It is a literal sense, not, Emmanuel, God is with us, God is among us also. And the third one, which is a symbolic, which is very useful for our reflection. See, when you are going in a mountain, just imagine, the higher you go, smaller everything becomes. Just imagine when you are hiking or going somewhere, you look at the places where you lived, the people, they are all becoming smaller and smaller. When you are going closer to God, just other things which are considered as, things of suffering, or the things which were very close to your heart, the things which you were very attached to it, all these things become smaller and smaller, and it becomes meaningless. And the second one is, when you are climbing on the mountain, if it is a steep down, it is like if you want to climb your first floor or second floor in your house, you need to put your effort to come down from first floor to second floor. Even without effort, you just to fall, then you will be down. Injury will be more. But to go up, you need to make your own effort. So, dear brothers and sisters, even like today, Jesus is taking three of his disciples, and in the first reading, Abraham, when he was asked by God's angel to sacrifice his son, he takes his own initiative and he makes an effort to reach that plan to achieve. So, dear brothers and sisters, when we, as we are in the Lent, God, showing his divine life here in the mountain, the same God is inviting us to be alone from the crowd. He is inviting us to be away from from our sufferings, and which we feel so close to it, to have a deeper experience of him. Today, Peter, James and John, three of his disciples, why he has to take only these three into the mountain to show his glory. If you just read the previous passage in Mark 8, where Jesus is asking his disciples, who I am, then immediately Peter says, others are giving some answers, a peripheral answer, but he gives the best answer, you are the Son of God, Son of Man. Then Jesus appreciates him, and then he says, though I am divine, I want to suffer. I want to struggle for the purpose of redemption. But the same Peter says, no, you don't need the suffering to to have glory. That is one of the reasons why Peter is selected, who wants glory and power without entering into suffering. No pain, no gain. In order to teach that purpose, he is taking Peter. And James and John also does some mean things in their life. In Matthew chapter 20, if you read, they are bringing their mother to intercede for them. When Jesus comes in glory, she is requesting Jesus to keep them in the right side and left side, which means they also want to have glory and power without any struggle. They want to go by shortcuts. So, dear brothers and sisters, this might be the main reason why Jesus is taking these three persons, and he is allowing them to encounter the prophets of the old time, Moses, who trusted in the Lord completely in spite of all the backbitings the Israelites did. Then Elijah, if you read the chapters of 1 King, chapter 18, 19, he is fighting against the false prophet 450 and he is escaping. He is having that witness in the mountain Carmel, and Moses in the Mount Sinai, and Abraham in the Mount Moriah. So all these people have an experience of God in its fullness, these three. And these three, Peter, James and John, are in the mean way to get that glory. So Jesus is trying to connect these two opposite directions, and thus these people, once they got that experience in their life, we know they become martyrs. Peter, he is telling, I'm not worthy to be crucified like Jesus. Let me be crucified upside down. So he is crucified in the cross, but upside down he is crucified. And James is beheaded for the sake of a faith. And John is giving a very beautiful personalized gospel for all of us. Dear brothers and sisters, today we are in this church. Every church you see, we have a kind of a bigger like mountain-like structure outside, the steeps that we have on the top. That an indication that we are also in the mountain. We are away from the crowd. We have taken our own effort to enter inside, and we have, seeing God's glory through this Eucharistic celebration and in the tabernacle. So today, this is also a day for us. You may be Abraham, Elijah, or Moses, or sometime you may share like me. You may get identified with Peter, James, and John. Wherever you are, now Jesus' presence is here, and it is your encounter with Him. Have a fruitful Lent season and have that experience of Jesus here, and let it transform all of our life. Amen.